there, Star Wars collectors, and welcome to another Bossk Bounty video. And in this video it's going to have kind of like a dual theme. We're going to be taking a closer look at the Credit Collection 6-inch Black Series figures, but it's also like a haul video, what I've managed to pick up in the last week or so, because it has been an absolutely insane week for pre-orders. Everything has literally come at once. So I've got, as you can see, the Black Series Credit Collection, just to quickly show you. We've also got some Vintage Collection. We've got the Carbonized Vintage Collection to show you as well. I've also got something that isn't Star Wars related, and I really shouldn't be getting into this sort of thing, but they're so cool and I've just got to show you them really. So anyway, let's take a look at the Credit Collection first off. So if you have been watching my channel this week, you have probably seen me review first off the Mandalorian. I did open this one because I did just want to open one figure from the line just to see what they're like loose, and here he is. So if you haven't watched that video, make sure you go back and watch that video after this one. But the rest of them have turned up. So he was an Amazon exclusive, and he arrived with the Death Trooper, which is here. And I made a decision that I wasn't going to open this guy. I just wanted to open one of them, and I'm going to keep the rest carded. And they're just for my sort of carded collection, because I'm a sucker for these Kenner cards, as you know. I do love these card backs, and the Credit Collection, the artwork is just everything for me. They're absolutely fantastic. And you can really see why people would want to be sort of inbox or on-card collectors when the artwork is as good as these are. So that's the Mandalorian. He's part of that wave. The Death Trooper was the other Amazon exclusive, as you can see there. So let's take a good look at him. I'm not blown away by this card back. You can't really see that half of the Death Trooper in the image. It's a bit of an odd one. The figure, I can't really comment on the figure. It doesn't look great in my opinion. It's got, you know, half of it's purple. The rest of it's sort of like a dull grey with some orange bits on him. You know, it's all about the card art for me with these, and the type of card that they're on. We've obviously got this rustic Star Wars chase that's going around the double racetrack, which looks awesome. And the Death Trooper there, standing there in front of that TIE fighter, just looks awesome. So he was the other Amazon exclusive. Then these three arrived from In Demand Toys. So I pre-ordered these yonks ago. And first up we have the IG-11. And anyone else that's got this figure, you'll have to let me know, is your credit piece on a slant? Because all the others, they're facing right up to the front. I've had a look, and the little tray that it sits in is also at a slant, so I'm just wondering if mine's fallen back for some reason. But there you go, that's IG-11, and again, the figure, I'm not really too worried about the figure, but the card art again looks fantastic. Really, really good. I love the way the sort of image looks like it's blistered, so it's like a painting that's cracked. Absolutely awesome. So that's IG-11. Then we've got Cara June, who, I don't know, this card just reminds me of Aquaman for some reason. It's probably just the turquoise colouring and whatever, and she looks like she's underwater. Figures, again, the paintwork on the figure is not really for me to comment on, but again, the card art looks fantastic. Love these credit cards. And there she is, having that sort of wrestling match. And for me, the pick of the bunch, apart from the actual standard Mandalorian, is this giant heavy infantry Mandalorian card back. It just looks absolutely fantastic. He looks amazing in that bubble. Takes up more than half the card with his separate gun piece there. But look at that for some artwork. That is just awesome. Absolutely amazing. And there he is in action on the back. It'll be interesting to see what companies come up with for like acrylic cases for this particular one, if you want to keep it in pristine condition, or if you're going to send it off for grading, because it's going to be one heavy piece of plastic and it's going to take up a lot of room. I'm not really too sure where I'm going to put all these at the moment, but as I say, these pre-orders just come thick and fast, and they all seem to come at once. The next thing that arrived today was the full wave of the Vintage Collection Carbonized figures. And again, if you have seen my channel, you would have already seen that I reviewed the Imperial Death Trooper. Here he is loose, looking very shiny. And the one thing that I did notice, if you have seen that video, is that the card backs have like this colour going around the trim of the card back. So It's difficult to see in the light. It's difficult to get it into that light, but I think if you can just see there, you can see that the Death Trooper has this green going all around the edge to kind of match the name pill and the bubble. So this is going to be the same for the Remnant Stormtrooper. If we can just sort of get that in the light, you can see that there's a very faint reddish colour that goes all the way around there. If we can just get that in the light. And this is the first time that I've actually sort of looked closely at the Remnant Stormtrooper. And I'm not going to open these up. I just wanted to open one of them up, which was the Imperial Death Trooper, just to get a sort of comparison with the original figure. And as you can see there, this guy's looking pretty good in his bubble. Hard to see the image on the card with this light, but very shiny Remnant Stormtrooper. Kind of defeats the object of him looking all dirty and dusty and rustic and whatever. So he's definitely not going to be coming out of the package. These are purely going to be put in star cases and put on my wall with the rest of the Mandalorian vintage collection figures. Next up we have the Cara Dune, and again, if we can just get it in the light, you will be able to see a very faint blue that's going around the edge. So that is intentional. They've done that on purpose. A lot of people thought in my video that they were being lazy with the card not being the same thickness all the way across and it having this sort of centerpiece, but it's definitely an intentional thing to make the rest of the card sort of the same color as the name pill and the figure essentially. So there we go. It's blue for Cara June, and there's the art. Exactly the same card back, just shiny. You know, it does hark back to the foil cards from back in 2010 in the previous vintage collection, where they used to give you sort of like foil variants. So yeah, these are growing on me from a carded point of view. And finally, we have probably the pick of the bunch, you know, the Mandalorian. Really good figure, great card back, really good image, and of course now on a foil chase. And this one as well, if we can just get him in the light there, you can kind of see that this one's got like a rusty orange going around the side. So yeah, that was 100% intentional for them to do that. We've got the sticker there as well, and there's the back of the card, looking shiny as anything. There he is. I personally think this is probably the best figure as well in terms of what they've done to the coating of the figure, because he has got lots of different parts of his armor and his outfit. You know, the paint work actually stands out what they've actually done, whereas with the Death Trooper it's quite difficult to see exactly what they've done. They've just put like almost a lacquer of varnish over him, whereas the Mandalorian, it's a lot easier to see the points that are shinied up and carbonized. But yeah, very difficult with the lights to see the image, but yeah, you might be able to see there like that. Next up, from my week's haul, I do have a Black Series figure, and it's from the Clone Wars, and this is the Mandalorian Super Commando. So there he is, looking pretty awesome. I may review this guy, I'm not too sure. I think quite a few people have reviewed him already. You might have seen them on other people's channels, but you know, I'm all in for these new boxes. I do like this. I'm not really a 6-inch figure collector. I'm not really bothered too much about having them loose and on display. They take up too much space and they don't fit in with the rest of my collection. But from a boxed point of view, with them all lined up, they look really good. I've just got to maybe limit myself about which ones I'm going to collect, and it will probably be the OT and the Mandalorian, maybe the Clone Wars if I've got this one, but I don't know if I'm going to get them all. But that's the thing with the sides, you see, they've done it on purpose. If you get one, you kind of want them all, and it's just falling into that rabbit hole really. But decent figure, you've got to say, and I cannot wait for this to come in the vintage collection. I'm pretty sure they will, as well as the Loyalist Mandalorian as well. That'd be awesome. And the last of the Star Wars pickups, we have the latest wave of the vintage collection. You have probably already seen my review of Chirrut Imwe and ARC Trooper 5s, and later on tonight I would imagine I will have the Hondo Anaka review on there as well, because Yeah, I want to open this guy up. I did get him in the Falcon. It is the same figure, but I want to take a closer look at him. And also, once I've opened him, my son will probably be having this figure. Because as I say, I do have the one from the Falcon, but he wants it. And obviously we want to review the card back and all that. So we'll make a separate video for him. But these are the UK ones. So, you know, I put my pre-order in for those ages and ages ago. The only one missing is the Luke Skywalker Jedi, which for some reason has been caught up in another order where I ordered something else with it. And I've got to wait for that to come in stock before I get Luke Jedi. But obviously I've had Luke Jedi anyway from getting them from the States. So just wanted to show you that, you know, the wave, absolutely amazing figure. I mean, all of them from this wave are just really, really good figures. Pretty difficult to choose my favourite, really. But if I had to choose, obviously you've got Luke Skywalker, fantastic. But I was so chuffed with this figure and how well he came out. There he is there. Just looks fantastic. But I didn't just buy Star Wars this week. Or, sorry, I didn't just pre-order Star Wars stuff that arrived today. As I said, it all arrived at once, and it's been a very expensive month indeed with having to pay for all these pre-orders. But I did get some non-Star Wars items, and we'll check those out right now. And here they are. It is the first wave of the retro G.I. Joe figures. Now, when I was a kid in the UK, I used to have a lot of Action Force, and then they started to put G.I. Joe figures on the Action Force cards, I seem to remember. I don't ever remember getting these card backs as a child. It was just Action Force, but I do love these, especially the Ninja figures. And I thought, well, if I'm going to get these two, I might as well just get this one as well. And then I got caught up in getting the vehicles as well. And I think maybe when I just get a bigger collection room, it'll be 95% Star Wars, and then I'll have a little shelf cabinet or whatever for all this G.I. Joe stuff. So we do have Snake Eyes, which looks awesome on that card back. I just love the artwork. I'm not really too bothered about which version of the figures are in the bubbles. If I'm brutally honest, I'm not going to open these. These are purely for display nostalgia purposes. Even has the old Hasbro logo on there, doesn't it? Absolutely awesome. So that's Snake Eyes. We've also got Storm Shadow. I'm a sucker for a white ninja. I used to love all the 80s ninja films. He looks awesome. And then we also have the Baroness, which is decent as well. But as I said, I didn't just get the figures. I got the two vehicles from Wave 1 as well, and we'll check those out now. Alright, first up we have the AWE Striker, or Striker maybe it's pronounced, and he comes with Crankcase, is it? Is that his name? I think that's what it must be. Again, I remember having these sorts of Jeeps from Action Force days. When I was little, I used to love this sort of thing, and it's just the box, you know, the box art, the design, absolutely fantastic. So I had to get this, and yeah, as I mentioned, I probably will have a very small G.I. Joe display when I get a bigger collection room, but for now they're going to have to be packed away. And then we've got the Cobra Hiss. So here's the bad guys, the Cobra Enemy, and you get the driver with it. Fantastic vehicle. If you look at the back, look, the toys were just so good from the Action Force and G.I. Joe range. Just love them. So yep, so from, you know, I'm 98% Star Wars collector, but I do like to dip into other things, and with these retro G.I. Joes, I do like them. Of course, I would much prefer having the original vintage ones, but they're so expensive these days, so a cheaper option is to get all the retro stuff. So as you can see, it's been a pretty expensive week for me. Hopefully there's a bit of respite now until maybe the next wave of vintage collection comes out just before the end of the year. But at the end of the day, I like getting new stuff because it feeds content and discussion on the channel. So let me know what your thoughts are about all this stuff I've picked up. Let me know what you've picked up this week. Have you picked up the Carbonized vintage collection figures? Are you going to bother with those? Have you picked up the latest wave of the vintage collection with the Hondo and Chirrut figures? And of course, did you bother with the Credit Collection Black Series figures? Let me know in the comment section below. But thank you very much for tuning in for this video. Drop a like down below, subscribe if you're new, and of course, we'll see you on the next one.